Hey guys, welcome to the Kevin and King podcast. Today we're talking about the Gears of War versus Tech Test. King, what are your thoughts on it so far?
The first day was kind of rough because, like, as it's a tech test, it there's a lot of, you know, server problems and everything. So the first day where we could only play the arcade mode, and the arcade mode is vastly different than what we're used to. Uh, it was a little rough, but having had 2 weekends to play it now, I'm really liking it. It feels like Gears again, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I really am liking it so far. Yeah, the first day was real hard trying to get on. I don't even think we played a game together. I couldn't even get into an arcade game with you guys because I think you can only have two people in a party to play arcade, which is weird.
Right.
Um, but after that, like the rest of the first weekend, I enjoyed it. We got slapped real hard a lot, especially me and Necroshade. We kept getting slapped when we were playing. And
Yeah, we are
then
rusty.
this weekend, I've played a little bit more, played a lot last night, and it was really fun. Still got slapped some. Um, but overall, it's been really fun. I do like the changes that they've made so far and it feels like more of Gears 1 and 2 to me than it did Gears 4. I don't know why. I think it might just because I like this game a little bit more, but
Mm.
that's how the movement and just the gun registration and stuff has felt to me.
The different abilities you can get in arcade with like Marcus having better wall bouncing and someone else, I can't remember the other ones right now, but that's a really interesting thing to do. But arcade's pretty weird overall, so
So when I played arcade the first weekend, I actually ended up liking it. It is totally different, and I understand why they put it in because if you're new, you don't really know the shotgun meta. You don't know that you're supposed to play with the Nasher the almost the whole time in ranked and in most of the other game types, and it allows you to kind of play with the heavier weapons and all the other pickup items when you because in the regular game mode you have to kind of look and see the timers and then go pick them up, and then most of the time you're never going to get to those. So it's a good way to kind of show new players how to pick it up and everything and use these weapons and kind of just get used to them. the
right.
the thing that I did see with arcade mode is that whoever had the enforcer class on either side absolutely destroyed everybody. It was insane. I started to run it, and I just literally just wrecked everybody. The enforcer is so strong in arcade mode that if you're not playing with it, you're going to get slapped. Like it's it's pretty insane. That was
Yeah,
like a
that enforcer class overall and the weapons you can buy with it are brutal. Did you get a chance to try out that mace you can get?
no. I never played with it. I saw people running around being goofy and everything with it, but I was just like, I don't really care about that. I just want to shoot the shotgun and destroy people. Really.
Oh man, that thing is brutal if you can get close enough.
Yeah, I think actually got killed by it one time. He came up behind me and just smacked me. But
Yeah. I definitely had more kills with it than I got killed by it
yeah,
because
I
it's two more skull points or whatever than the Nasher, and I mean the Nasher is the bread and butter, so not that much appeal besides just it being new and a novelty to actually pick it up in the arcade mode instead of the Nasher, but it is fun.
yeah, I mean, and you can see them from a mile away running with that big thing. And if they're coming to you and
Yeah,
you
and they can't hide around corners and
yeah, and if you have the Nasher or the Enforcer or anything, even the Lancer, and there you see them, they're going to be gunned down very easy.
it's the first time that I can remember that it's a straight up team deathmatch unlimited lives because Gears of War 4 had team deathmatch, but it was 15 eliminations.
Yeah,
So this is the first time like there's a score limit and like whoever has the most at the end wins because Other than that, Gears has pretty much always been about eliminations to win.
Yeah, it has, and I don't think I noticed that because it was just team deathmatch, so I was killing people. But yeah, that is different, especially different from Gears 4. They didn't have that, and I wonder if that's kind of a telling sign that they're going to change team deathmatch in regular Gears, in the regular stuff.
I wasn't entirely correct. There is games like Escalation and King of the Hill, and they're both in this tech test too, and those are point based. But
Well,
this is the first time where it's just been like just going for kills, and and you have unlimited lives.
I thought most of the classes were useless besides the Enforcer thing.
Yeah, the only other one I really played with is the one with the longbow.
Yeah, me too.
Because I mean, like the torque bow's fun. Torque bow is always really hit and miss with me.
Yeah, I'm the same way with the torque bow. I can either hit every shot or I'm gonna miss every time for some reason. And I'm a lot different with like
Yeah,
the M bar or the long shot. I can hit very consistently almost every time with those. So I only played arcade mode a little bit, but I played King of the Hill for the majority of this because I just wanted to get as many games in as possible and as much time on the sticks as possible to kind of relearn the game and everything again. So getting into King of the Hill, the first couple of matches were super super hard for me because I remembered how to play, but in my head I wanted to do other stuff, and my actual fingers and stuff wasn't doing the actions that I wanted them to do, and that was really hard for me. So the first couple of games I was just getting dominated because I didn't remember like shotgun length and wall balancing right, and then the settings. They changed the settings a little bit this year with the Gears. I know King had some issues with it about where the new chainsaw button, and then just in general they made the sensitivities really low. So I had to go in there and change everything and change all my settings to how I liked it. Like I think everything starts on 10, and I threw everything up to like 25 at the end is where I'm at now. And that was like the first like super shock when I started playing King of the Hill. So the first couple of games really killed me. But as we go, King of the Hill kind of still feels classic, fun. I mean, I like killing and everything. The additions to some of the newer like power weapons in it, that's that's going to be hard. And then I also have some issues with the two maps that we got to play with for King of the Hill. Uh, some of the points are really hard to break, or once they're held, you can't really do anything. What is your initial reaction to King of the Hill, King?
I it feels pretty similar to how I remember. You're right though. The sensitivity was really low. I didn't turn mine up quite as high as you did. I think I'm on 18 right now, but yeah, that initial sensitivity was garbage. I was getting circles run around me, like just trying to uh, turn around and kill who was ever by me. But I once I started playing around with the sensitivity, and I probably won't go as full into it as I will when like the actual game comes out. But once I started playing around with the sensitivity, it started feeling a lot better. I hate that new chainsaw button though. I've gotten killed multiple times because I go for a chainsaw and end up reloading, or the other way around.
Yeah,
Um,
the sensitivity and everything was a big shock for me. Like when I first started playing, I was like, "Oh man, I couldn't even roadie run right." I haven't had the issue with the chainsaw, but I don't chainsaw as much as you do. I know you love cutting them in half and doing all that fun stuff.
yeah, especially in King of the Hill, where you can just become a smoke grenade filth monster.
Oh, dude, that's so. This weekend when I was playing, a lot more people kind of changed up how they were playing and doing things. Instead of using smoke grenades and stuff that everybody was using, a lot more people are using the flashbang, and that thing in King of the Hill is just so disorienting and so It's really strong.
Yeah, that flashbang is filthy.
Yeah, you just throw it in and you at least get like first hit, if not a free kill most of the time if you're like a decent player, because it's really strong. I'm thinking they might lessen the effects of it. Maybe not the maybe the duration to how long like you can actually move, but I think the effects on the screen could probably stay. But like because you can't, you get stunned with it and everything as well, and it's just real disorienting and you
Yeah,
can't really find
yeah.
back.
You straight up can't move or shoot for a couple of seconds.
And
It's it's debilitating.
yeah, and it's pretty like instant too. It doesn't have. I know with the smoke grenade, it kind of beeps and then it takes like 2 seconds. I think the flashbangs are really quick. They're just it's like maybe 1-2 seconds tops, and it goes off. So you can kind of just chunk it in and do what you want. That was a big
Hmm.
issue that I was having last night with King of the Hill because everybody was just spamming. It was just throw, throw, throw. So you couldn't
Yeah.
when once you got on the hill and held it, the whole team would kind of flood, and then you would get hit with 4 flashes, and then they would just be up on you. You couldn't really hold them with the lancers or anything because of how they were positioned.
No, other than that, it still felt like King of the Hill from 4. So, uh, small issues aside, and I'm hoping they'll give us like when the full game releases that they'll give us full like customization options for buttons and button mapping so that I can change that
Well,
chainsaw because
you should be able to
that's
change
probably
it
my
now.
biggest issue.
I, well, oh, I guess you can't because it's supposed to be one button and you double. I don't know if you can change that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the only other thing that I had with these two maps on King of the Hill, it felt,
Uh,
for the most part, training ground, especially the one hill that's in the middle, like that's more in the middle of the map, not to where you can go up and get the like longbow and things. It's where like the drop shot spawns and everything.
yeah,
That
I know what you're
hill,
talking about.
it's so hard to actually do anything with. Every time there was a hill there when I was playing, everybody just lines up on each side and just shoots into it, and you can't really do anything. You just got to take the shots and hunker down, and then they all flood in, and you're already hurt, so you get downed. And for the most part, that hill just sucks. Like I hate that hill so much. The rest of them are actually pretty fair because there's multiple ways you can kind of get into all of the other hills. What the other map's district, right?
Yes, district and training
Yeah.
ground.
For some reason, I didn't like district. Like it's okay, but I just couldn't get. There's something about it that I just didn't like how it moves in the middle, and kind of the whole middle part is just like two walls, and then it goes out to the sides, even on all of it. And for some reason, it just feels like a tunnel that you're always running in, and you're always fighting people in a tunnel. And I didn't like that. It didn't feel like I had a lot of options to move around. Everything was straightforward. You're not really going to flank anybody. You're only going to come from one or two ways, and that's the biggest thing that I had with that. You couldn't maneuver yourself. You're going to get on most of the hills. You can see everybody from really far away, so you can get lancered before you get there. There's no way that you can just. There's no way that you can sneak up on it or even wall bounce to super safe areas or anything. And for some reason, I didn't like that map because of that, and that made King of the Hill feel really hard on it.
Yeah, I there's also something about how cover works in this game. Besides just wall bouncing appearing to be a little bit more difficult, it seems like cover doesn't actually protect you in a lot of places on this map.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've definitely seen that. People are just they're lancering a lot more, and you can just shoot even when you're in cover and they're at like just a little slight different angle. They can shoot you, and your hitbox is open, and they and because of that, you have to move or you have to be in like a very vulnerable position. I don't like that. I totally understand what you're saying right there.
Yeah. It just seems like a lot of times I thought I was safe. Like when I was low on health, I'd take cover thinking I was safe, and then I'd just continue to be hit. It kind of feels wrong.
Yeah, and I think that has to do with just these maps in general. There's a lot of um, like height to these maps, like a lot of stairs and a lot of ups and downs in different places that you can shoot people from. And
Uh-huh.
if you think about regular or traditional Gears maps that we've seen in the past, a lot of the really good ones are just kind of flat spaces to where you can maneuver with. They go into where they have stairs and stuff everywhere else, but those places where you primarily fight, it's kind of all flat and you can't really get another angle from somewhere else. So because of the different height and stuff on this map, I think that's a reason why we're also seeing people getting us getting shot from other places, and I don't hope that the maps are like all the maps are like that. I hope they kind of just go back. Going from King of the Hill, to which King of the Hill's kind of stayed the same, into Escalation, to where they have made pretty significant changes to how the uh, gun picking system, to like the pick band system of where you can place guns on their competitive mode, and everything works.
Escalation's probably the game mode I played the least overall, both in this tech test and in Gears 4. So I can't really say I know as much about it as I might like. Uh, but I do still remember mostly how it goes in the or in 4, and the changes they've made are weird and are going to take some getting used to. I wouldn't say they're bad, but I'd have to get used to it. And since I'm not like that's not my main game mode, even if I say it's bad, I'm not sure if that really matters because it's for pro leagues, right? Like that's one of the game modes for the pro
Well,
leagues.
it's
So I guess it
the
really depends on how they play it.
yeah, it's the game mode for Pro League. That's the only one they play. And if you want to go pro or be competitive in this game or in Gears, you have to be good at this playlist. And I mean the
I thought
changes.
Execution was also a pro league game.
I think I think they. It was at the beginning of Gears 4, and I think they rotated
Uh-huh.
it out to where it's only Escalation. That's the only
Huh.
game type that they play for competitive. So it's kind of like CS:GO, to where they only play the one type of playlist. I
Weird.
mean, the changes are super significant. They went from respawn time. They went from like respawn time delays to like each round to you only have a certain amount of like deaths that you can have, a certain amount of respawns that you can actually do per round per player. And that's a huge change because you have to play totally differently, and you have to the whole strategy for the game kind of changes because you can't just go in and sacrifice your life. You can't go in and sacrifice like continuously sacrifice yourself for the heal. You have to be like, okay, I'm kind of going to have to back off because next round I might not have as many lives to kind of take these heals and do other stuff with it. So it kind of changes the whole meta of their competitive in a whole. And then they
Yeah, and
changed that.
I'm also concerned that that's going to lead to more like railroading. So uh, instead of you being able to pull off an epic comeback no matter when in the game, I feel like with this change, it's going to be once you're down. I mean, it's not a guaranteed loss, but it significantly reduces how much you can return to the fight. And I'm just not sure if that's going to be as interesting to watch. You know what I mean?
Competitively. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what the pros actually say about it, how they feel about these changes, and we'll start to see that
Hmm.
as the weeks get closer to the
Release.
release of Gears. I personally don't like the lives. I thought the respawn time delay was a lot better, and it gives you. I thought it gave you a greater chance to come back later on in the rounds and stuff like what you said. Now, if you do get
Right.
railroad and they continuously dominate you, you kind of don't have a chance to come back. You kind of can't you can't refocus up and start going at it again.
Like I said, it's not my game mode, so I'm I'm not really the authority on whether or not it's a good decision or a bad one. It's just it seems like it's going to cause more issues or like be less fun. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see on that.
Yeah,
The the weapon picking system is it's definitely not as intuitive as the last one. I mean, the last one was real easy. Just what weapon do you want and where do you want it?
yeah.
Um,
And I think the menu for what the weapons and stuff that you can pick in this one is better. But I was confused at who was picking when and what you could actually pick and do. It didn't like tell you what was going on, and it didn't tell you the other teammates kind of what was happening. So I was super confused because there's at one point it looked like we could actually vote for stuff, and maybe it because we didn't play enough, we didn't learn it. But that was just super frustrating.
yeah, I did like that there appeared to be some sort of voting system. I'm not sure if it actually meant anything or if it was just to tell the person who was picking that this is what your teammates want. Uh, but I did like that there was a voting system. I'm just not really sure how it works.
Yeah, me either. And I think the voting system is good. It kind of lets people know, this is what we should pick there and stuff. But other than that, I was
Right.
super confused by it. I didn't know what was going on. Also, how the grenades kind of worked. Like you could put one on one side, but it didn't spawn on the other side. So it kind of made it unfair. So one team could always get the grenades and the other team wouldn't, depending on which side you had. And I didn't like that change. I think if you're going to put grenades on one side, it should always mirror it so the other team can kind of get it. Because even with like the
Yeah,
even with like the power weapons, and the power weapons always spawn in neutral positions. Grenades in this game, especially the flashbangs right now, and even smokes, they can kind of become power weapons. They the way that you play with them gets you kills in this game, especially since this game mode is kind of has a kill base now to where you can't respawn.
yeah, I really didn't like that grenades only spawn for one side or the other. It seems kind of unfair, like you were saying.
Yeah, it should the little stuff like that I feel like should almost always mirror. Even if you like set an enforcer down, the other team should be able to get the enforcer. If you set like just any of the other littler guns, it should always mirror. And I don't know why it doesn't. I don't know why they've chosen to do that. Maybe it's they're just testing it for this test server. But we'll see as more stuff comes out, which I don't know. As of right now, I don't like it. And like I said, I want to see what other pros. I want to see what pros say about it, not other pros. I'm not a pro. Um,
Overall, I'm pretty. I feel pretty positive about um, this game based on this test. Like they had some major kinks they had to work through at the beginning, but once they did, it was a lot of fun and just as frustrating as it used to be. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game's release. There's a lot more rust I gotta knock off.
yeah, I'm pretty excited for this game. We've been playing non-stop battle royales for the last 2.5 years or so. That's
Pretty
all that's
much, yeah.
coming out, and I'm pretty excited to get this type of game again. So yeah, I'm excited for the game to come out and everything. I'm also very excited to see what they're gonna do customization wise. I want to see which characters they're gonna bring out. Kind of if we're gonna have loot boxes or if we're just gonna pay for skins, and if they're actually going to look cool and significant. Are we gonna have gun skins, things like that. I'm pretty excited for. I want to see them. I want to see how they're gonna do them.
Waiting and hoping for more news about the campaign, because obviously this, like, the tech test isn't going to go into that portion of the game, but a lot of what I played Gears for, I mean, as much as I love the multiplayer, I also tend to love the campaigns, and this one at least looks more interesting than the last one. You know,
I'm
that'll just have to wait and see, but I am excited for that portion of it as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see where the story goes, and I'm excited like to play with you. So we're going to do like probably a co-op playthrough together and post it on the channel and everything, so everybody
Hell
can
yeah.
watch us, and we're just gonna have fun. And I think that's gonna be really fun in general. Even if the story sucks, it's gonna be fun to play a story with you, and I'm
Right.
super psyched about that, and to have a game to play. I think that'll be cool. But yeah, I'm excited for the multiplayer. I'm excited for the regular campaign. I think it's going to be good. I'm excited to see how and what they're going to do with the rest of the multiplayer, how Team Deathmatch works, how Guardian works, how all the other playlists works. I
Oh
mean,
man, I'm really hoping they bring back Dodgeball, because Dodgeball was probably my favorite game mode.
I really hope they bring that back too. I think it was a decently popular playlist, but I'm hoping they bring that back because we played a ton of that, and it was just super fun. But yeah, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. There will be another episode up next Sunday or Monday. We're talking about that when we should start uploading. It probably will go to Mondays unless there's some significant movie that we want to put out an earlier video or something like that. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye bye.